Hello my friends all over the world, wherever you are. William Poloniak here again from Whole Health Foundation. And today I'm going to be doing another stress test on the Near Zero blowback cutter that actually shreds produce better than we thought. I'm going to be juicing collard greens, dandelion greens, a few other greens and some other ingredients. Let's look at my other ingredients. Here I have beet tops with one medium-sized beet, parsley, 3 tomatoes, some turmeric, ginger, 1 whole head of garlic, and of course carrots. So let's make some juice, and we'll start with some collard greens. Now whenever you're making juice, it's very important to feed your produce in. Don't just drop it in, but I'm just going to show you what happens if you drop in your produce. Not a whole lot of blowback. As usual, the first thing I'm going to do is plug in my thermometer and feed in 3 ice cubes. I want to cool down my cutter and keep it below 23 degrees centigrade if possible. I'm going to start with collard greens, fold it in half, roll it into a tube, and feed in the stem end in first. This time I'm going to put 2 collard leaves in, fold it in half, roll it into a tube, feed the stem end in first. Now remember, don't drop it in, feed it in. Rotate your bowl. Couple more collard greens, stem end in first. Now whenever you do greens, it's a good idea to clean your grid as frequently as you can, especially if the motor starts working hard. I can smell that parsley. Back in. Let's now do the tomatoes, 3 tomatoes. Turmeric, ginger, this cutter is doing a beautiful job. 27 degrees, so 3 more ice cubes. Now I'm going to feed 2 carrots in. And remember, feed them in, don't drop them. After my first 2 carrots, I'm going to clean the juicing grid, which has larger holes, and then switch to the number 2 grid, which generally does a much better job on carrots. So we'll set that aside, use the number 2 grid with the 1/8 inch holes. Plug in the thermometer again, and we'll continue with carrots. Usually you feed in the large end in first, but when you have small carrots like this, you can reverse them. Feed a couple of times, save a little time that way. Now remember to feed your carrots in. Do not drop them in. One thing I want to point out is what an excellent job this cutter is doing on shredding the carrots and the rest of the produce. This carrot pulp is almost like pudding. I don't see any fiber in here at all. So it's doing a very, very good job. So let's continue. Now the last of my carrots. usually a carrot in here. So when you're down to your last produce, put some more pulp in here. Force that last plug through. Then unplug your thermometer, clean your grid, your feed tube, and mix your produce and make some juice. Remember, when you have carrots in your pulp mix, you do not need to use bamboo liners. Carrots prevents your pulp from sticking to your cloth, so rotate in both directions, get a really good mix. I'm going to show you my less work 6-cloth method. You're folding your cloths into thirds, press that down, as tight a package as you can make it. The first 2 cloths full of pulp go in your press, centered left to right, that's very important, centered front to back, very important. All the way back it off a little bit because you don't want this to go up too fast. We'll set that cloth aside full of pulp and continue. And here's my less work 6-cloth method. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. Now in the less work 6-cloth method, there's 2 ways you can do it. First you center this left to right, front to back, all the way back, back it off. You do not throw away your pulp. 2 new scoops on top of the spent pulp. Pull it into as tight a package as you can make it. Flatten it, that's very important, and set it aside. Another method would be to put the pulp inside the bowl if you're puddling juice in here, but I'm seeing that I don't have a puddle of juice, so I'm just going to put the pulp straight into the cloth. Fold it into thirds, as tight a package as you can make it. The tighter the better. Flatten that, set it aside. Advance that all the way when you're on your last cloth, and keep your eye on the bowl. You don't want that to overflow. I can't tell you how many times I wasn't paying attention and it overflowed on my countertop. Again, in thirds, tight package. Turn it over, flatten it. Pull this forward, pull that over. The spent cloths go on top. A new set of 2 cloths full of pulp. All the way back, back it off. Remember, centered left to right, front to back. Keeping my eye on the bowl. We're getting pretty full here. 2 more scoops of pulp into the bowl. Now that's actually too full, so I'm going to back that off and turn off my machine. So before I make more pulp and more juice, I'm going to put this into bottles. But before I do, I'm going to set that back, but not just a little bit, a lot. You want it to be very, very obvious. I'm going to fill this from the back side so the camera gets a good look. Now notice I'm leaving about 10% for filtered or distilled water. I don't like full strength juice myself. Forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. Centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, and back it off a little bit. What I'm going to do with these spent cloths is form it into a tighter package and press it again to show you how the Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer can actually make 10% more juice. And that's because of the premium bottom plate and other premium parts on the Whole Health Foundation Model Juicer. As you can see here, I formed all of the spent pulp into 3 double packets, and I'm going to use a measuring beaker to see how much extra juice we can get using a Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer. Now I suspect we get even more juice because of the Near Zero blowback cutter, but this is going to show you how much juice we're going to get from the spent pulp. Now I've got it all the way back. As soon as I get juice flow, I'm going to back it off a little bit. There we go. You do not want this to go up too quickly. Cloths are very, very slippery at first. You want to wait until you get some traction, advance it a little bit more, and then all the way. Very important to center it, left to right, front to back, all the way back. And when I get juice flow, I'm going to back that off a little bit. Now I could wait until the steady stream becomes only drops, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to stop at 15 ounces. Pour this into the juicing bowl, set that back a little bit so it doesn't drip on my countertop, and fill more bottles. Well, my friends, from that batch of juice I got 5, 9, 16-ounce bottles of juice. And remember, one of these bottles was from pressing the already spent pulp, plus enough for a taste test. So let's do a taste test. Now to taste this small batch of juice. Remember, this was collard greens, dandelion greens, parsley, and a few other ingredients that you saw at the beginning of this video. Delicious as usual. I can taste the parsley, not as much the dandelion this time. And I hope you like what you've seen. And if you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. I'll see you in the next video. Delicious.